Hey everybody, Chad here with Kits Out Mobile Home Outfitters, and today we're going to be assembling one of our DIY RTA vanities. This is RTA, means ready to assemble. It comes in a box. We're going to be doing model V3021, and that stands for vanity, 30 inches wide by 21 inches deep. This model is a double door, comes with no drawers, but it is available with drawers. But today this is the model we'll be assembling. You don't need very many hand tools. A standard drill, maybe a hand screwdriver, extension if you'd like, and a hammer. Those will pretty much solve all your issues with assembling this cabinet. This cabinet should take 15 to 20 minutes to assemble. And as you see, I have it on an elevated workspace here. It's good for your back to be a little bit higher. As you carefully open this box with the utility knife, this is exactly how it will come when you buy a cabinet from us. You got your side panel, your other side panel. This is going to be your bottom shelf, your kick front, or your toe kick. This is going to be your hardware package. Comes with your brackets and your screws that you'll need to assemble the cabinet. This is going to be your front of your cabinet. This is a white shaker that we're doing. We also stock gray shaker. This is going to be your back panel. The other hardware bag is this one right here. It's a small hardware bag. And you always want to start with your back panel. It's the first one that you start with. I like to leave the cardboard down. It gives it a little protection surface for you to work. You don't have to. You can do it on your floor in your house or whatnot. The next piece we're going to start with is one of our sides. Either your left or your right. It doesn't matter. And it just slides together with this groove. And you want to line up this bottom. This is your bottom panel to your cabinet. You want to line this cabinet up like so. It may be useful to have somebody help you if you're assembling your first cabinet, but a cabinet this size is easy to be installed or built by yourself. I like to use the little plastic container as kind of your screw holder. Less likely for you to lose your parts and pieces as you assemble this cabinet. So we're going to start with these screws here. And you want to line this up just like so, making sure that it's all the way in on the cabinet. Then you're going to take one of your brackets, and this bracket goes on the bottom underneath your shelf. And then, if everything works properly, you take and you can put a screw in like so. Now if you're a little wobbly with the drill or whatnot, you may want to have somebody help hold this side panel while you screw it together. The tough one is the bottom one here. See if the tip will work with us today. If not, a magnetic tip is always handy. Once you have a couple screws set, then the panel is going to hold by itself and you can go back to regularly screwing. Okay, and we're going to slide around to the other side. And we'll put the bracket in the top. And bracket on the top, you want to stay down about 3/4 to 1 inch down. You don't need to measure, you can just guesstimate. That always works. And just repeat the process. Alright, now we got the first side done. This is our left side. Now we're going to do our right side of the panel. Same process as the first one. Test fit, make sure that it all slides together. Then you're going to install 2 brackets on this, just like we just finished up. First one goes about 3/4 of an inch to an inch down. Once again, making sure that our shelf's lined up, and we're going to put this bracket right down here in the bottom, just like we did on the other side. Each bracket takes 4 screws, and they come in the same package as the bracketry. Now we have that other package of screws that we'll use later. But for now, you're just using this package. Alright, now that we got our 4 brackets on, we're going to insert our bottom shelf. I always like to look at the shelf and make sure that you're putting the top and the bottom. One side is a little duller, the other side has a little more shine to it, the finished side. So that's you want to make sure it's up inside the cabinet. And you'll just slide it right inside here, like so. Make sure that it's seated and that it does not extend more than the face of the cabinet on the top. Next, we're going to go with our cabinet front. And this just sits right on top of the box that we have built, like so. It also has a groove in there on the bottom to accept our bottom shelf. I always like to make sure that the top and the bottom are centered, or if they're slightly off, then you pick one or the other. But this one is just right on. It's manufactured perfectly. But you will find sometimes there's a small little defect in heights, maybe a 1/16 or whatnot. So now we're going to repeat the process. We're going to do bracketry on the bottom, just like so, like we did on the other end. And you can do this all with a hand screwdriver. It doesn't have to be a drill. This is called an impact drill. But sure does make it go faster, and it saves your wrist for later. Some people like to use the extension, and I'll show you what that's like. So this is I believe a 6-inch extension, and what that does is get you a little bit straighter to the unit, but then it also makes you a little wobbly when you go to screw in the screw. There we go. I prefer not using an extension, but there may be a case that you need an extension, so that's why I recommend one. But a magnetic Phillips is ideal for this situation, for a really good balance. A couple more screws and we'll spin the cabinet around and do the top. Normally I would do the top from the other way, but for this video, we'll spin the cabinet for you. Alright, so now we can see our top. Once again, continue using this little tray you made. We're going to do the same thing, 3/4 to 1 inch down from the top. I like to do the easiest screws first when you're trying to hold things together. It's going to be your side to side. Your up and down ones can be a little more difficult when you're trying to hold a bracket and whatnot. Last bracket, cruising along here. Oh, dropping my screw. I like to hold everything together because if it's not sitting right, you'll see in this corner that the bracket can be screwed in incorrectly. So if you have time, and you remember, push down on the cabinet to make sure that it's as tight as possible. Alright, so that is our box. We're going to spin this back around because we got another step we need to do on the front. Next, we need to work on our toe kick. It's going to go on here like so, but it comes pre-drilled with a couple holes here on both sides, and that's where we're going to use this bracket or this bag of parts. I like to use our tray again to keep ourselves tidy here when we build this cabinet. We're going to pour all these parts into here. And this one, you have L brackets. You get 3 of them on this model. You get a couple long screws, 3 of them, and then you get all the same size short screws. First, what we're going to do is work on our kick panel here. And that is going to be 2 of these short screws on both sides, and it's going to end up mounting like so on the side of here. But first, we want to mount them to our kick panel and use those pre-made or pre-drilled screw holes that are in here. Now we got the toe kick kind of mocked up. The next thing we need to do is this bracket. This bracket sits underneath here, and it has 2 holes on one direction and 1 hole on the other direction. I usually would recommend that you only do 1 screw through the face of your cabinet. Less likely in case the wood is going to crack or whatnot on you, which is always possible, that it would show up if you only had 1 compared to 2. So we'll do 2 in the bottom. You want to do in the middle of the shelf, and that's usually right between these 2 doors. You don't even have to get a tape measure out to get close to the middle. And that's just going to help support this cabinet bottom if you put weight in it. Now that we got that done, and you want to do that before this, otherwise, as you can see, it's hard to get inside there. You could use the extension or you could take this back off, but you want to do this bracket first. Next, we're going to do this toe kick. We're going to use the last 2 small screws that we came with, and I usually line it up with the bottom here. There's usually a 1/16 of an inch difference, and that's in case you need to twist it, and I usually leave that gap to the top and go like so. Last little screw. Like so. So now that we got that done, we pretty much have the cabinet completed. The next thing that we need to do is these 3 long screws that we received. What we're going to do is turn this cabinet back around and put those 3 screws. Right along the bottom here in the back panel is going to be the 3 screw holes that screws into the shelf and helps hold the shelf from the back side. So if you put weight in it, it helps hold it. I like to start on one end and work to the other, and it helps grab this panel as you screw it in. Alright, that is all the hardware we received. Turn this cabinet around. In that very short time, we have assembled our white shaker RTA ready to assemble cabinet. It's made out of solid wood on the fronts, plywood construction on the rest, and it took us 15 minutes or so to assemble this cabinet. So if you need some more cabinet ideas or cabinets, look for our other videos here on YouTube as we assemble more cabinets. If not, thank you for watching our video and stay tuned for more in the future. Have a great day.